Hello, ladies, and gentlemen, and special Dan here, and I bring you a bit of a tangent. See, remember, I said I'd do some more of these. Why? Because I feel like I need to do them. Because, again, that's my channel, talking about culture, giving my point of view, right? And I'm coming to you in glorious monochrome because I thought, why the fuck, let's mess around with my camera on my phone. So, speaking of cameras, this kind of tangent rant does have to deal with cameras, or mainly people's use of them. Now, what you may not know is on YouTube you're able to upload things at 60 frames per second, which is really good if you're a gamer. If you're filming games, it looks beautiful because what we've learned that at 60 frames per second, things can look very smooth. Hence why a lot of games, when they do remasters, do them at 60 FPS. My big problem is not that. It's not that. That's great. That's awesome. The problem is when people upload things that shouldn't be at 60 FPS. For instance, epic battle scenes in a movie, or clips from anime. Now, if you guys have ever seen Slow Mo Guys, I'm not sure if you ever heard that channel. They do, as they do, they do stuff and they film in slow motion to see how it looks. And one of the guys on there, his name's Gavin Free. If you watch anything with Rooster Teeth, like be it Ruby or Red vs. Blue or any of the other stuff, you've probably heard of his name somewhere. But he talked about how the fact that they'll look smoother when you do things like slow motion, you have less frames. My problem with people using it on this regular footage, not slow motion, but other stuff, is by playing it that things look weird. I have said this because my mom, she bought a new 4K TV, and she's like, "Oh, but it looks all 3D." I'm like, "But Mom, that's not how it should look." Now 3D is now I'm guessing although I'm not sure, I'll have to go do my research. If you're playing 3D at 4K or at 60 FPS, it probably looks really good. It looks unnatural, and let me explain that because I did take you call AV classes. I took a class on production and all that stuff. So they kind of explain this. So when it comes to film, most productions are, on average, are filmed at either 25 or 30 frames per second. 25 is the standard, I believe, for movies and for what they call PLA. It's kind of the European standard. The other one is NTSA or NTSC, which is 30 frames. That's stuff simply for television shows. That's why a lot of people, the standard for for a long time when it came to gaming, prior to 60 frames was 30 frames, and then 48, and so on. So on. So there is a reason behind this. There's a method. The problem. Let me explain this. So going back to things like slow mo, guys, is when this has to do with how cameras work. So a high-speed camera, for instance, works by taking a lot of, say, 1,000 frames in 1 second. Now, if you play it back at 1,000 frames, 1 second lasts. But if you play it back at, say, let's make it very simple. Let's go with 25 frames per second. That is, you get 40 seconds worth of footage. It's a lot less if you say let's make it 3,000. Let's say 3,000 frames per second, so we can do it with 60 and 30. So you play it back at 25 frames, you get, I believe, let's see, it's 40 times 3. That gives you 120 seconds of footage. So 2 minutes. You do it at 30, you get 100. You do it at 60. You get 50 seconds. So though it will look really smooth, it doesn't look as, you lose time. Now, the inverse of that, and this actually, if you guys are any of your film buffs, is we call speeding. I don't know what they call it, but time lapse would be the best word to use it. So if you guys ever seen Return of the Jedi, which I know most people have, if you haven't, go see Star Wars. That scene where they're flying on the speeder bike, when they show them going through the forest from a first-person view, they basically filmed the camera. There was a frame like every half second. So because when those are played together at the same speed, let's say you're playing something at 12 frames, you're shooting your camera at 10 frames per second. So your 3 seconds of film become 1 second when played back at 30 frames. So it looks like you're going, whoosh, so it looks faster. That's what's happening with your when people are playing back at 30 frames per second. Now, to be fair, because the TV is set up to play at a certain rate, my guess is it does some sort of artifacting. Basically, another little tech thing is that for DVDs, again, this is an old tech, but when you're compressing video, you'll sometimes do, let's say this represents my background, and it'll literally it'll have a reference saying, okay, this doesn't change, but this changes, to save space. So my thoughts are that maybe when they're doing this thing, it's doing that with the background, so it comes out weird, but because it's so crisp, you notice it more. So I'm just going to say this for now. Please, if something shot at 30 frames per second, stop uploading at 60 frames. I know you're like, but man, I'm like, no. It doesn't look good. You don't believe me? Trust me. Go watch, like, something from The Return of the King, like one of the epic battles. You'll go, that doesn't seem right. Because if you've ever, like, walked in, like, a Costco or a Sam's Club and seen their displays, the thing is, most of these guys don't know how TVs work. I mean, who one of these out. This is nothing against people who work in the TV section at any of these big box stores. It's just they're just going to display it on its default settings. I mean, they may know little things like how to do a splitter or how to do, make it so it's multi-displayed at once. But they're not going to know that certain things that comes to people like me and certain gamers, people who like are maybe enthusiasts for this because they want the best of the best. Not everybody knows. This is like when your grandma. And I'm not trying to be mean to older people. My mom's in her 50s, but because she's a smart lady. She's a teacher. People are going to know this. And this is kind of me helping you, so if you like this, more of this stuff, more stuff like this, maybe I can, instead of Holodan just being about culture stuff, maybe you want me to go more into tech stuff, because I'm kind of a nerd like that. So leave a like, engage, and see, the more you engage with me, the more the video spreads, and the more people find us, and the more I can do more stuff. So thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and my name is the Holodan, and I will see you guys later. Peace.